Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I've been sitting and staring at this screen for the past hour or so. I'm not pressed start record.
No, it's true. It's true.
I'm procrastinating. Oh, it's so nice and cold, and it's so beautiful, and I'm just so cozy. It's so lovely today. But how are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely wonderful. Today, I've never made a video about my rankings of different MMORPGs that I've played throughout the years. And I started playing MMOs back when I was around 8, 9, so I had a much smoother brain back then.
Either way, great progress for Bebe.
And I never stopped. So I've played quite a few MMOs throughout my time on the internet and playing video games. Now, in this video, I'm not going to be going over every single MMO that I've played because honestly, I've probably forgotten some of them and just blocked it out of my memory. But for the sake of this video, I want to go over some of the more popular MMOs that you might have heard of, maybe some that you haven't heard of, and give my ranking of them and give my impressions. And we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane. Let's begin.
Oh, now we gotta go?
So I'm here on the tier maker, of course, because it's the most trustworthy site to do this. And we have a couple different tiers. We have the GOAT, which stands for greatest of all time. And this category, I would say, y'all captivated me. Y'all hooked me in. The games that are in this category, y'all did that. And these are the games that I'm currently playing and I really enjoy. The next category is, it's a serve. It was a serve, or it either is still a serve. It was a little iconic, and it definitely kept me entertained for some time, so it was a serve.
Period.
Next, we have the category for the WoW clones. These were the games that were just kind of mimicking and going off of the classic tab targeting questing system, all that stuff. They weren't necessarily pushing the mold, though they could have had a couple interesting ideas going on. Next is the Graveyard. This is the one where I would categorize them as I'm not necessarily going to be touching them anytime soon, unless there are some pretty drastic changes. And then we have the final category, which is I totally just forgot about it. Like, I was like thinking about this and I was like, oh yeah, that exists.
What was this award for? I'm sorry.
So I guess we'll start with one of them, World of Warcraft. Also, apologies for these icons, but you know, it's what you gotta roll with the punches in life, okay? So first and foremost, we have World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, to me, it probably at one point was the GOAT. I'm not gonna lie, I was going really hard in Mists of Pandaria. I was going really hard with Legion, hell, Wrath of the Lich King, Battle for Azeroth for a time. But with everything considered, where World of Warcraft is currently at, I would probably categorize this as more of just a serve.
Period.
World of Warcraft, I have to respect its iconography, its legacy. It really paved the way with MMOs. It was my very first MMO that I ever played that was to such a scale, and I had such fond memories of it. I will probably come back to World of Warcraft once in my life. But for now, World of Warcraft is more so just a serve. Next up, we have Wizard 101. Now, I gotta say, controversy got brave. I'm like, is it a serve? Is it the GOAT? Or is it kind of graveyard? Like, does it need a lot of good changes? I think to play it safe, I'll put it as a serve. To me, Wizard 101 was the serve of the childhood era. I loved playing Wizard 101. I probably would still play it if it wasn't a subscription based, and if you didn't have to unlock each individual map. The payment method is really kind of putting me off from ever touching this again, which is almost like why I wanted to put it in the graveyard category. For the sake of my history with the game and the game that it is in terms of its combat style, its strategy focused game, it is very child friendly. It hits a lot of wonderful points of fantasy and the fantasy world and mythology. And to me, I could be biased, but you know, this is an opinion video about an opinionated tier maker. So Wizard 101, to me, you served. Next up, you might not be able to tell from the logo, we have Terra. Now, when Terra first launched around 2011, 2012, that game was amazing. And it probably still is to some people. But for me, I would probably put Terra in the graveyard right now. It's kind of, for me, kick the bucket. It's run its course. There's nothing really new or captivating. I feel like it's going on so much. I don't know what models they have. Do they even have expansions? Do they have patches? I honestly would love to see a Terra 2 or a Terra remastered because the combat was so amazing. And the company knew what they were doing with combat and I guess leveling as well. You had the BAMs, the big ass monsters. Those were so much fun to fight. They were great spectacles, but the combat in Terra was what really paved the way for that action combat. Next, we have Skyforge. I forgot about this game. I forgot this game even existed until I was making this tier list. And I was like, what were some of the MMOs that I played in the recent years? And I was like, oh yeah, Skyforge. And I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, I totally forgot about this game. And so that's below Graveyard, so it's like even less than Dead. Because at least I remembered Terra very quickly, but I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about that game. But Skyforge was a game. Next, we have Rift. Now, Rift. It was a little bit of a serve, it was a little bit of a WoW clone, but I think I'm gonna prop it in the WoW clone despite my intense enjoyment with Rift. When Rift launched, it was a subscription-based game. It had lovely graphics. It had a lovely dynamic event system with the rifts and the world invasions. But for me, the thing that was the most serve was the class system. The soul system, where you pair a bunch of subclasses to create the class. Almost kind of what Ashes of Creation seems to be trying to go for, but Rift just was so next level with its ideas. Of course, metas shook out and you really wouldn't pick any other thing other than the best. Next, we're coming to Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, I'm biased, okay? I'm not gonna hide that. I'm also biased, but I think I'm biased because Guild Wars 2 is one of the GOATs. You know, I'm not gonna knock the game and knock myself because it's a good game. You know, I'm obsessed with it because it is a good game. If it wasn't a good game, I wouldn't really be obsessed with it. Skyforge, Terra, you know. But Guild Wars 2, awesome, stellar, highly recommended. I am a partner, so I have links down below. I know, plug. But I do have links down below if you'd like to try it out. I highly recommend it. There's new expansions. You have consistent patches. You have really awesome class design. The combat is probably one of the best combat systems on the MMO market right now. So if you want dynamic, slightly faster paced combat, highly recommend checking out Guild Wars 2. Next, we have Elder Scrolls Online. Now, for me, it's a toss-up between GOAT and serve, okay? It might be the greatest of all time, but it could also just be a serve. I think I'm gonna prop it in the serve.
Period.
Not gonna lie. It's just for people who do play Elder Scrolls Online. I love the game. It just barely missed maybe the GOAT section, but Elder Scrolls Online had a really tough history. It was a little wonky, and then they remastered it and it really blew up. And Elder Scrolls Online has really great consistent content. It's the world of Elder Scrolls. It's the lore that everyone is very familiar with. It's a serve. Next, we have Dragon's Nest. Now, Dragon's Nest, for those of you who back in the day, like 2011, 2012, 2013, this was the era of the action MMOs. But honestly, I forgot about this. I forgot about Dragon's Nest and I continue to forget about it. But I think it's still running. Is it? I could be wrong.
This is totally unacceptable. I'm on my way.
But Dragon's Nest was a lot of fun. It was a more of a chibi anime art style. It was really cute. The combat was lovely. Didn't really get much of a story out of it, but it was mostly just the combat. But yeah, I forgot about it. Next, you might not actually be able to tell from the logo, but it's Breach. Breach was a very short-lived MMO experience. I consider it an MMO. It was like kind of like a instance-based mission thing, kind of like Skyforge. But Breach, I had a lot of fun with it, not gonna lie. It's more than it's a graveyard because it was shut down, so you can't actually play Breach. But I still had fun with it. It had a very interesting class system. You could select different classes and just easily swap them on the fly. It kind of, now that I think about it, was kind of a Skyforge clone, but with different themes, different aesthetics, a little bit of a different narrative. Now, next we have Blade and Soul. It's graveyard to me. I'm so sorry. For me personally, I would love to see Blade and Soul get revived, and I know there's a whole revival thing, but I haven't tried it yet. So for me, haven't really been super interested in Blade and Soul right now. though I am keeping my eye on it, and I would recommend everybody else to keep your eye on it. Next, we have Bless Unleashed. Now, Bless Unleashed, not gonna lie, kind of the serve. It was kind of the serve from where it was at with Bless. Oh my god, I forgot to put Bless on this category. Well, Bless would go in the graveyard because it's just dead, so you can't play it. But Bless Unleashed is the second sequel game to the infamous IP of Bless. And it wasn't, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not the best MMO ever to launch. However, it does have really interesting stories. It has a pretty, you know, satisfying combat system, and it's free to play. So I would recommend anybody check out Bless Unleashed. I still have it downloaded. I just haven't really been able to play it recently because there's so many MMOs to juggle. We have Black Desert Online. Now, Black Desert Online, is it graveyard to me? This is a personal list, okay? It's a personal list. I'm gonna say graveyard. Shocking, controversial, brave. Don't come for me. I'm not saying it's dead. I'm not saying it's dead.
Don't do it.
I'm not saying it's dead. I'm saying for me, they need to change something. They need to have a revamp, another expansion, more consistent PvE content, a Holy Trinity system, something to get me backed in. But for right now, it's graveyard. We're gonna go with Allods Online. Wow, Cloud. I forgot I played this game for a hot minute. You know, when everyone back in the day, you didn't have enough money, or you were a child like myself, you didn't have enough money to actually pay for a WoW subscription. Your parents wouldn't pay for the WoW subscription, so you start going on YouTube and going like, top 10 free-to-play MMORPGs.
But I'm just gonna start off by saying, like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, like, I honestly feel bad for you. Like,
and like, you'd always see Allods Online. You ended up seeing Rift on there. You would see like Terra, other games, Maple Story, etc., etc. Oh my god, I forgot to put Maple Story on the list. Well, that's graveyard. I don't play it. But in the case of Allods Online, WoW clone all the way. I gotta say, the art style and the combat and everything, pure WoW clone. And finally, we have the one, the only, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, the GOAT. It's the GOAT. For me, Guild Wars 2, A Realm Reborn, Final Fantasy, and, you know, slightly Elder Scrolls Online. They're all the GOATs right now. I think those are probably the top 3 MMOs. Do I want to move Elder Scrolls Online to the GOATs section? No, for continuity's sake, we're going to keep it in the serve. But Final Fantasy XIV, not going to lie, I didn't really get it. I didn't understand it, but I really stuck with it. I was like, I'm a very stubborn person, but in this case, I was allowing myself to be pulled along by the hype. I was like, I don't enjoy this. The early game is really rough. I was like, no, not for me. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? I have to stick with it because I have to find out if it's really worth it or not. So I gruelingly got to max level. Not max level. I gruelingly got past the first story of A Realm Reborn. I'm starting to go into Heavensward, and I like it. I understand it now. The combat is much faster. There are more abilities to use. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV, GOAT. Guild Wars 2, the GOAT. In terms of the serves, I would say World of Warcraft, Wizard 101, Elder Scrolls Online, and less or so Bless Unleashed, but still I enjoyed it. WoW clones, Rift was, I think, a serve, but for the sake of the category, it was a WoW clone. Allods Online, staple WoW clone. And for the graveyards, I'd probably say Terra, even though it's still online. It would need something else. Breach is literally gone. You can't play it, but it was interesting. Blade and Soul needs something different for me to, like, download it again. And same thing with Black Desert Online. And then for the MMOs that I generally forgot that I even played were probably Skyforge and Dragon Nest. Thank you everybody so much for coming by. That was my list of MMORPGs. I would love to hear your thoughts. How would you rank these? But overall, I highly recommend Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy XIV, and Elder Scrolls Online, and even Bless Unleashed. So yeah, thanks for coming on this little fun video. It's nothing too serious. It's just like a sampling of the MMOs that I've played and how I would rank them. So yeah, hello fellow MMO lover for watching to this part. If you'd like to subscribe, you know how to do that. It's YouTube. Like, comment down below your thoughts as well. If you'd like to support the channel, I have a Patreon down below where you can get early access, exclusive content, and also a special Discord channel. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everybody. Mwah.